I bolted to the front desk. I frantically looked for the gun, only to realize it was missing. Without thinking, I ran outside in pure panic, freaking out. With shaking hands, I locked the door behind me. When I heard the shallow breathing again. For a while, I worked as a 911 call operator. My friend Daniel had just finished his police training and said that the police had some vacancies, so it would pay a decent amount. The only catch was that I'd have to take the late night shifts. Being a broke college student, it was fine by me. Besides, job vacancies were becoming quite rare in those days. Training didn't actually take that long. I just needed to be calm and collected. Soon enough, I passed the test with flying colours and got the job immediately. My first week as a 911 call operator was pretty uneventful. In fact, the first week was pretty boring, if anything. Drunk dialers, the odd medical emergency, nothing too serious like murder or shootings. There were a few other college students there, but I never really got along with them, to be honest. I was just there for a quick buck. The second week, though, was a little different. It was only me. Daniel said that they didn't need as many people anymore, and I was the lucky one to stay. Even more nights spent staring at a blank monitor. What a drag. I settled in on a Monday in the third week. The station was basically empty. I poured myself a strong latte and settled in expecting another uneventful night.
911, what's your emergency?
The line was basically second nature to me by then. I heard nothing on the other end for a while. Then I heard a creepy laugh.
Can I order some pizza?
I sighed and ended the call. Prank callers were always annoying, and I was told to reprimand them, but honestly, for minimum wage, I really couldn't be asked. I sipped my latte and looked around. It was really peaceful. I was always introverted, so this was a dream come true. 911, what's your emergency?
I think someone's following me.
I paused. Daniel?
Mike? Yeah, it's me. I'm off duty. But there's this guy that's been following me for a while now. I've turned around 3 corners and he's still after me. I'm alone, Daniel. You gotta help me.
Where are you?
I'm making my way to the station.
Before I could reply, the call cut off. As the call ended, I ran downstairs. Just in case, I took a gun from below the front desk. I returned to my desk and waited again.
911, what's your emergency?
Hello? I said. The call cut off. Another prank call? Literally the worst time for this. I shook it off and tried to get the worrying thoughts out of my head. I crept downstairs, gun at the ready. Slowly, I creaked the door open. I was relieved to see my friend Daniel in his usual blue hoodie and Nike Air Jordans. He was wearing a face mask, so I didn't really notice anything much. But for some reason, there was something slightly off about him. Putting the gun back underneath the desk, I approached my friend. "You had me worried there," I said. "Nothing bad," he said, pointing a thumb behind. "I think he dipped when he saw me come in." I nodded and made my way back up again. The night shift resumed as usual. An hour had passed and I assumed that Daniel had left. I went downstairs to check. Sure enough, he had left, but for some odd reason, he left the door wide open. I rang Daniel from my personal phone to make sure things were okay. He finally picked up. "Hey man, did you get home safely?"
What are you talking about, Mike? I've been home all day.
My heart skipped a beat. I bolted to the front desk. I frantically looked for the gun, only to realize it was missing. Without thinking, I ran outside in pure panic, freaking out. With shaking hands, I locked the door behind me. When I heard the shallow breathing again, I turned to face him. My suspicions were true. It wasn't Daniel. It was some crazy psycho posing as him. One of his eyes was visibly twitchy, larger than the other. His skin was pale and drenched in sweat. In his hands, there was the gun. Hey, what the hell's going on? The last thing I remember were those gunshots and that laugh. I remember waking up at the ER the next morning. The doctor told me I was lucky to be alive. The bullets were barely inches away from my heart. No one knows who that crazy psycho was, or where he went, or what he wanted. Fortunately, Daniel was fine and had never come into contact with the man. But every night, I get nightmares about that crazy psycho and how my lack of wariness could have killed me.